Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pullze Check podcast. We got a day filled with a bunch of leaks, a bunch of news, and a whole lot to talk about. But before we get into it, man, let me introduce everybody. As you guys know, we got my man Hunter, we got my man Ebatez, and we got my man JGod. Boys, how are we doing today, boys?
Good. Amazing.
Chilling.
Excited
Incredible.
for what's coming.
TL's been a little hot the last couple days.
Hold on, it's coming. What's coming, Hunter? What's coming?
Well, we know what's coming. There's not anything good. We know what's coming. Verdansk, right? That's the topic of today.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
boys,
sir,
look,
baby.
so TL's been a little bit hot recently. There's been a couple things that we've all discussed and that we know, right? But we're gonna go one by one. Verdansk has pretty much been delayed, right? So, okay, I'm saying the word delayed because I'm pretty confident that it's delayed. Like it was delayed because they never really came out with a set date until today or yesterday, whatever it was.
Technically, they did.
Yes. Oh, they did? Oh, because they put out March 19th was the end of season 2.
Correct.
So then everybody had just assumed that March 20th would be start of season 3.
Because that's usually how it works. It's not like no seasonal for 2 weeks. It's not like, oh, you know what? We actually don't have a season. The battle pass is ineffective. That's just not normally how systems work, right? So we know that as soon as one ends is the start of the other one. So now they've gone in and changed that date to April 3rd or whatever. So it's been adjusted based off of that.
So season 2 has been extended then, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So there's been a lot of mixed emotions on this, boys, from people agreeing with it, people hating it, people loving it. I'm kind of curious to get all y'all's thoughts. JD, can you bring it back up? I want you guys to see. I guess we'll go over the tweet real quick. We kind of just skipped over it. Pretty much Call of Duty said, Season 3 is a big moment for Call of Duty Warzone and Black Ops 6. And we're taking the time to deliver a great experience starting on April 3rd. More to come following Call of Duty Warzone's 5th anniversary next week. So, in my opinion, based off the last sentence right there, and we're taking the time to deliver a great experience starting on April 3rd, I think that they kind of insinuated that that they delayed it, right? I assume that it was supposed to release March 20th, like it said in the game, right? And for whatever reason, they delayed it a couple weeks. And then more to come following Call of Duty Warzone 5th anniversary next week. Boys, I guess we'll go one by one, man. What's y'all's thoughts on the delaying of Verdansk a couple weeks? I know everybody has a lot of opinions. The TL has been fucking spicy. JGod, tell me what you think.
I tweeted out about it. I said it was a good thing because I think how many times have we said, oh, if it's not ready, they should just delay it? Yeah. And then they finally do it, and then people are like, oh, shit, now they delayed it. What the fuck? So it's kind of weird that people maybe those are different people, but realistically, I thought that the integration should have been delayed several weeks. And when we had Warzone 2, I thought I've called out delays multiple times. And this might be like the second time, I think. I feel like there was another time they delayed content once, maybe twice. But it's not very common occurrence. And usually when the delay happens, there's still going to be bugs at launch. But usually the bugs that happen get fixed. Those ones get fixed really quickly when there's a delay. I don't know, at least the 2 or 3 times that we've had delays. But if the content comes out normally, bugs, they persist for forever. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay. Hunter, what's your kind of thoughts on it, bro?
I hope this is a good thing, but I'm kind of getting some Caldera Vanguard PTSD with this one because I remember they delayed Vanguard Warzone. What was it, a week?
Yeah.
Was that how much they delayed it? And then it came out and it was literally like a disaster. So I mean things change, different engine, maybe they have things more together. I hope we see a smooth launch, but I'm not gonna be jumping out of my pants on this one. I'm gonna wait and see and give my opinion when it comes. I don't want to get too excited.
All right. Ebatez, what's your thoughts on it, man?
I think it's overall I read this and I was like, this is fine. I kind of expected some kind of delay, but my one concern, and this is kind of what I was thinking about, is there must have been something that popped up in the last couple weeks for them that they were like, okay, we need to delay, or like a final thing, because I feel like if this was a known thing that they were going to delay it for a little bit, they would have extended season 2 right off the rip and just said that it would have ended April 3rd. Instead of just saying, March 20th, now April 3rd. So that's my only concern, is that they must have ran into a problem. And that's where I'm like, okay, what's the issue here? Why the delay? Other than that, I think it's not a big deal. If it could just be where they're like, hey, we want to make sure that this integration with the new map is seamless. Day one, there's no like loadout bugs or perk bugs, or you can't pick up your guns, or like a bunch of BS, that we've had on normal integration days. And I'm sure maybe they're just taking those extra steps. But that's my one concern. I'm like, why, like if they knew this about like a month ago, they would have just extended season 2 initially instead of just saying there's a delay. So that's just my one concern. Other than that, I think overall this is totally fine. I'm glad that they are taking the extra steps to make sure that it is seamless, and I'm hoping that it's a super smooth launch and honestly just really good.
Okay, so kind of piggybacking off of what you said, boys, and I guess this is all of us, right? Like, what do you guys think could potentially have happened? Or in your guys' head, what do you guys think happened that caused them to delay this? And again, why, with only 2 weeks left, technically speaking, right? If it was supposed to be the 20th, 2 weeks left, why would they delay it another 2 weeks? Like, what do you guys think happened?
So I have a theory. Okay. So you guys know when we had the season 2.5 update, I think there was like parts of Verdansk that were kind of like put into that update, right? Because it was like a 100 gig update or something like that. So I think that they're already like preloading some files or whatever. I'm sure that they did that and then maybe noticed some issues or something. And then they're like, okay, we might need more time to like fix it or something. Cause that's like my theory, is that they tried putting from the dev build into the game, and then they might have on their end saw like an issue. So now they're like, okay, shit, we need like a little bit more time to make sure that it's good. That's kind of my theory.
Okay. Boys, you guys have any theories?
No, I mean, I think that's probably similar, like along the same lines. Cause, it's like with the whole Rebirth thing when it came out, it was, or
the lighting,
the integration, the lighting and the sound. It's like from what I had heard is that like in their build, that shit was immaculate, flawless. Like there wasn't those issues. And then when it went to live, that shit was like, what the fuck? How do they not play test their game? But the reality is those two environments are like different, and one could like, one tiny thing on this other one could mess up the other one. So maybe they are doing that. And you know how when we've had access to play Call of Duty early, what has happened is in the little tab on that, when you log into Call of Duty, you would get a different version of the game. You know, when we played Caldera, we got a different
ranked or whatever.
I would imagine that they're probably playing the game in that type of version or something, where it's actually like live, but like no one can play it except for like the dev. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, because
I mean,
I can Caldera. Go ahead.
I'm thinking there's something that was so maybe potentially game breaking or glitchy, where like if people came back to play after not playing for years, it would like seriously piss them off. Like JGod said, the whole thing with the Rebirth sound like there's a subway station going on all over the place, or it could be literally anything. Like imagine what's something that broke recently that was like super annoying, like anything like that, right? Anything that could break and be super annoying. I think they want to make sure that does not happen, because as the leaks say, they're riding on how Verdansk is going to do to determine the future of Warzone. And I think that they need to make sure that nothing is glaringly wrong, where someone's going to log in and be like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do this after a couple of games. I think that's what happened. There's something wicked going on that they'll probably fix.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I guess I never really. My opinion on this is, I agree with what JGod said. Is everybody was always saying, I honestly think people are more happy about this than upset about it, and I think it's kind of cool to see that there's not a lot of negativity behind this, because again, we've all been saying this so many times before, that like they cannot launch shit and it be bad. Like especially like they only got one launch for Verdansk again, right? Like
I gotta do something really quick. Right. I'll be right back in a quick second. See me gone for a
second.
second.
You're good.
So like they can't fuck it up, right? They literally can't. So it's like, if they have to delay, what is it, 10 days? Two weeks, right? In my opinion, I personally don't see any issues with that. Do I think that that's going to make it to where when the game comes out, it's going to be completely perfect? Nah, I think it's still going to have bugs. I think there's still going to be bugs, still issues, but at least if they made a 2-week change where they pushed everything back, right? That's got to mean that there's some like Hunter said, something huge that happened, something big that like forced them. Because bro, like for you to push back something like this for 2 weeks, something drastic had to have happened, right? So I assume they found something that's like, yo, it's groundbreaking, we have to push it. And I'm hoping that they can just figure it out by the time 10 days from the initial launch, right? They got a month from now. It is the 4th as of right now. Technically exactly a month until launch, 4 weeks. And so I'm praying and I'm hoping that it's good on launch. I don't know. Like Hunter said, I'm not going to get too excited yet. I want to wait, play it, and then go from there. Because I don't know. I mean, boys, what could they possibly fuck up here? Like
a lot.
It's a video game, man. It can be
I mean,
anything.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
yeah, it's an actual question.
I mean,
what could?
I mean,
It's just
there's
not
with
like, bro,
Rebirth.
I mean,
No,
there's
I
so
know,
much,
it's-
man. There's so much. It's
So-
not even worth talking about.
From my understanding, I mean, maybe Hunter, you might be a little bit more knowledgeable on this, but why is it that when we get, let's say, an old map on a new game, how much do they have to completely redo the map, or can they pull old
Yeah.
files and kind of build off of that? They have to
No.
completely redo the whole map.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
It's not
So
designed the same at all, and it's not the same.
right,
We'll talk about this in a bit, but basically, there's certain effects that are forced onto the game, and they can't just like copy and paste and then throw these effects on. They have to literally remake everything,
Right.
which is a heavy
Right.
task. Because
Okay.
I was watching just gameplay, and there's so much detail in the map that it's kind of scary. They only had a certain amount of time to make it right. You got to think about the little things when you're on the not at the airport, but next to the airport with like the big hangars. There's little details of like certain things on the walls, big boxes, how these things line up, and it just makes you think like, how much do they really got to do to make sure that it is like actually a
Right.
done map? So definitely a lot of work, and that's
Yeah.
the scary thing about it.
which is crazy to think about. I mean, think about how much effort they put into Urzikstan on Black Ops 6 just for it to be
Dude,
there
that's
for 4
insane.
months.
Well, that's
Just think of-
different.
like,
that's
that's
not that was,
crazy.
well, that was on the same engine though. That obviously it's
Oh, okay,
not.
true.
They still
That's
they still
fair.
had to do something with it to like get it to work, but Modern Warfare 2019 Verdansk was made probably in like 2017, 2018. So it's not
Okay.
the same as Urzikstan all because the same engine still.
Okay,
That makes
All right,
sense.
All right, so look, like I mean, when it comes to Verdansk being delayed, boys, I don't know. Is there anything else specifically you guys want to talk about? I do think that the majority of what we will be discussing today is the quote unquote leaks and all that stuff. But when it comes to Verdansk being delayed, I don't really know what else there is to say other than I am personally happy that they decided to do that, because instead of just rushing shit, they're actually choosing to take their time with it, even if that means a couple weeks delayed. Is there anything that you guys kind of wanted to go over before we move on?
No, if we're going over leaks, there's nothing to say right now.
Okay, all right.
Well, I will say
So-
though. Oh,
Yeah,
hold on. Sorry. I will say though, I am really excited to just play Verdansk as a whole, but I hope it's good. I hope it's really good. That's the last thing I'm gonna say.
course.
I don't have any hate in me. I just want to be optimistic about how hype it is.
Yeah,
I have a
again,
feeling there
bro,
will be like plenty of like under the map glitches, kind of like we saw at Urzikstan and stuff like that off
God.
the rip. But hopefully they're quick to patch them. I mean, I would be very shocked if there weren't under the map glitches. But it like the thing I've noticed with I saw a YouTube video on it on the under map glitches with the game we have now. You need water in order to go back up. So depending on how they do the water layout on Verdansk, if there's water, it might not be that bad, because Urzikstan right now, there's so much water in the map where people can go under the map and then go like POI to POI, because there's like that giant river in the middle of like cargo and stuff.
That's actually
and,
insane.
Yeah, and like Levin Resort, all that. So like you're able to go places to places. So depending on if there are under the map glitches, just depending on how much water they have, it might not be as or like, you know, as like it won't hurt the game as much. So we'll see. But
Yeah, the water. I
don't
don't
even
think
know
the
the
water's the possible water area. I don't think it's even that predatorial to the game either. If they end up
It's
doing
the
water, I don't.
outside and then the dam.
It's
right?
just the
Like,
outside of the map, and then the dam, then like a little river. That's not anything predatorial, I don't believe.
yeah, like they're not running a river near Superstore or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
so unless like they just do some crazy stuff, which I don't think they are, but that would be insane.
I pray that they don't fucking look, bro. Water, I still think is like a horrible mechanic. Maybe if there's a little bit, sure, but Urzikstan was kind of insane. Like when they make
Dude.
Urzikstan, I don't know if they made it like maybe they made it literally with zombies as their main thing, because the way like right the way it works, right, JGod? It starts outside and then as it goes in, as it gets harder. Like back in, I remember when I was playing zombies.
Yeah. I think that's like it's too lined up perfectly with the way the concentric circle thing works. That Urzikstan was, I don't know, maybe it was a BR map first, but I feel like that's 100% zombies the way it was.
Well, they have a behind the scenes of how they made
just like Al Mazrah was
know.
DMZ.
Wait, they have a behind the scenes of how they made that shit?
Bro,
yeah, they have a
look at
behind the
how
scenes of how they
much
made
water
Urzikstan,
there is. Like,
I think it was made with BR map in mind first. I think that's what it was. If you watch their behind the scenes of Urzikstan, they explain it pretty well.
Zombies did a hell of a job repurposing it then.
Yeah, they did.
Because it looked like it was made for zombies almost.
Yeah, I agree.
Jesus.
Well, this map played really well on zombies, I'll be honest. Like, it was very good for zombies. Like, when I was playing zombies and doing the camos, it was very, very smooth.
I actually had a lot of fun grinding zombies for this shit.
Yeah, I did too, surprisingly.
Yeah. All right, boys. So now let's kind of get into the big stuff for today, man. There's a lot of opinions on this, and I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts. I know Hunter and I talked about it a little bit. I don't know how JGod feels, how Ebatez feels, but there was a pretty big leak, and I want us to go over things kind of little by little here and one at a time. So let's go over the tweet, right? So this is a rumor. Details on Call of Duty 2026 Modern Warfare 4. This is not next year's game, but the year after that, right? Because we know next year it's going to be Treyarch again, but then after that it's going to be IW. Modern Warfare 4.
It's technically this year. It's technically this year, at the end of this year. Just
the wording on that is actually wrong.
Wait, what do you mean the end of this year? What do you mean?
Well, we have Black Ops, whatever it's going to be called at the end of this year, and then at the end of next year, it's Modern Warfare 4.
Yes.
So it's technically like next year is Modern Warfare 4.
And
he
reworded the tweet wrongly. You have to pull up Hope's original tweet because the last line doesn't say the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say because there's a couple ways that I want to look at this tweet because Enigma brought up a good point in his tweet, which I do want to bring up, JD, if you want to.
Because if you put that last line head to head, those don't mean that remotely the close to the same thing. Because what Hope said was no Warzone 3, which means a specific like engine integration, if Verdansk fails to retain current returning players. That is not the same as Warzone will not be supported.
Right.
Yeah. Because
which I did want to discuss that.
2 may be supported. It wouldn't get another integration, which is also kind of what we've been asking for, that we don't want we want standalone. So there's a lot of nuance to that.
Yeah, we're jumping ahead. It's
kind of weird that Charlie Intel did rephrase that part of the tweet. So I don't know if he actually knows something and then he rephrased it with that prejudice or whatever you want to call it, or know-how, or he just rewrote it and didn't even think twice.
Or he rewrote it to get whatever is going to get the biggest like headlines. Yeah. Right. The most clicks.
Yeah, because that is not the same as what he types right here.
Okay. All right. Well, look, let's go over it. Let's go over it little by little. So first, I'll go over it all, and then I want to go over each section. I know Hunter's pretty good with this kind of shit, or he has a presentation for us, which I'm actually excited to see. But real quick, we'll go over this. So GoSelf tweeted out exclusive details for Modern Warfare 4 2026. No old gen support. Traditional UI like the older games, more traditional than Black Ops 6. Engine being overhauled to address Modern Warfare 2 problems, like visual clutter, etc. Being developed on dev kits for the next Xbox. And then last but not least, no Warzone 3 if Verdansk fails to retain current/returning players, which JGod hit that right, the nail on the head. And that's immediately what I thought of. I didn't think, they're going to give up on Warzone because, brother, these guys make an insane amount on Warzone. For them to just give it up would be, I don't think they would ever do that, right? But let's I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Let's go over the first thing. So first and foremost, I guess, because it kind of plays into the engine being overhauled and stuff, the visual clutter, the no old gen support. And so, Mr. Hunter, do you kind of want to give us a little rundown on this? I know you kind of had an explanation of why this is such a big deal.
Yeah, so the first bullet point, the no old gen support, goes exactly in line from what this tweet sounds like, is the engine being overhauled to address the visual clutter. And it specifically says Modern Warfare 2 because that's the engine that, we play on now, MW3, Black Ops 6, Warzone. We have people call it Warzone 4. It's still Warzone 2. At the end of the day, it's still Modern Warfare 2's Warzone.
Yep.
And dropping old gen is huge because the reason the game is so blurry, you guys notice the game's blurry and there's like it's really grainy in a lot of areas and there's little black dots, is because they have to support old gen. So it's called TAA. It's a type of anti-aliasing where they have to force effects on the game, enable PS4 and Xbox One to continue being supported, right? If you think about when the PS4 and Xbox One came out, that was 2013, right? Call of Duty Ghost. That was almost 12 years ago. And when the Xbox One and PS4 was made, there was no vision of Call of Duty having a 150 player battle royale in it, right? And so I have a video here if you want to pull it up showing why the game looks so visually bad. It's because the anti-aliasing. In Modern Warfare 2019 Warzone, it was not
watching
forced.
that video you linked though, Hunter. It's also like an industry issue. It's not specific to Call of Duty only.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right. I know that. But
but just to clarify for the viewers that it's not just a Call of Duty like devs issue. It is a like gaming
industry-wide,
industry-wide issue of how they're handling old gen by essentially being lazy and not solving the problem. But go ahead.
And so before we start the video here, so Modern Warfare 2019 did not force anti-aliasing. That was not forced into the game. So what you're about to see here, it's going to go just start with campaign, but you can see already, like visually, like look at the faces, everything. It looks like okay, right? And hit play on it now. So this is on 4. Wait, sorry, pause one more time. My bad. So I recorded both in the same resolution. I recorded both with a 5090 9800X3D CPU at 4K. So all this is recorded. All of this is recorded at 4K max graphics for both games. I did not skew Black Ops 6 to make a point and like fake anything. This is all made a good point, and we can go and play now. So you can see Black Ops 6 looks okay. Like the lower lighting actually helps hide it. So if you pause it here, I wish the video was downloaded. Are we able to download this real quick so the quality is good on it? Because it's hard to like tell when it's pixelated a little bit. Sorry. This point matters though heavily. I don't know if you're able to download this, but
it's really hard to also convey on Twitch because the details will be lost with compression and all these things.
I mean, you can even tell.
I can still explain it. So I mean, I recorded it. It went through rendering. Now you're seeing on Twitch, but you won't see it as much. But when you're playing the game, you will see it a lot more. If you hit play again, you can already see it looks visually better. The faces, everything, it already looks better. Right here, pause this right here. Okay. What do you guys notice between left and right with Modern Warfare and Black Ops 6? What do you guys notice already on the guns?
The fuzzies.
What's that gray shadowing thing?
Yeah, so on the left, it's a very, very smooth shadow. It almost looks real, right? The left side almost looks like you can touch the gun. You can see the dust, everything. On the right, you have all this visual noise directly in your face on the gun. If you hit play again, you can see it. You can see all the visual noise.
Oh, that's moving a shadow?
Both are zoomed in. Both are zoomed in the same. I didn't zoom one in more. They're both zoomed in at the same thing. I slowed it down here so you can see it. You see how it looks very grainy. It gets worse. So look, you see right there on the right side, it's very, very, very grainy because that forced anti-aliasing. You can keep playing it. I have it all perfectly lined up here. It's very, very grainy on the right. And remember, this game is way newer. And then look right here. When you zoom in, the fences are all pixelated. Anti-aliasing is messing all that up, right? And that matters when you're playing Warzone. Right here, when I move left and right, you can see the water kind of blends with the wall like an oil painting, right? And you notice anti-aliasing way more when you're running through the scenes. And then right here, look, the floor looks great. It looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks real. And then look, you back up, you can see the graininess start to kick in. The anti-aliasing makes it look super grainy.
Even on the left.
And then right here, look at this. Look at the water. The water looks like
it's being drizzled
sand.
on.
Yeah, it looks grainy and it's moving. It shouldn't be doing any of that. And then right here, I show a visual of just the game just standing here, right? When you zoom in on the left, why does the windows look like a static TV? The background's flickering, the cars are flickering, all the textures are flickering, the water's flickering. And then we look at Modern Warfare 2019, right? You'll see it transition here. Right? There's no flickering. No flickering. I zoom in here. It's very, very, very minimal. Right here. Very, very minimal. You don't see it all. You can't point out a bunch of different things, right? It's very clear. All of it's very, very, very clear. And the reason this matters is because if they get rid of old gen, this will not be a problem anymore. You can even see I zoom in here to the grass. and there's no movement. You're not getting all this visual noise.
And
all.
apparently, you can change the setting on PC to remove it, but you could potentially get banned.
Yeah,
So,
look at that. You can
here's my
see as I'm
question.
moving right there, the water. When I
Wow.
was moving, it was more noticeable versus standing still. It's not as noticeable, but when you're playing Warzone, you're not standing still, right? You're running. You are running around. Therefore, the visual clutter is way worse, and that's why the Terminator skin is so freaking bad in ranked play. Is because the visual clutter, the no coloring, it's really bad.
Yeah.
You can see. Yeah.
Here's my question. Here's my question with this. This is actually really good. Like, I appreciate this, Hunter. Why
Yeah, you're insane for this.
is the process of making new games? How come they're not still doing it the old way if they're still supporting the old gen consoles? Like, why are we
Because it's
transitioning
cheaper.
to the way that they're making? Okay.
Yes.
It's
And
cheaper to do it
in which
this way.
Just resources and
Dev
this is like
costs,
more automated.
it's cheaper, and also it can hide issues with the game as well. It can hide issues. There's other games that prove it. So games like Cyberpunk, anti-aliasing can hide flickering in a lot of visual issues with the game. And it also, so how I think how it works is
It also
it's-
cuts down on the frame like delay too, right? Or it adds frame
so
delay or something
it's
weird.
using
That's what the
previous
video said.
frames to help render future frames. Like it tries to predict it. And that's why Warzone 2 looks so bad. People think I'm crazy. I always say Modern Warfare 2019 looks better. People say no, it doesn't. It does because you don't have all that crap on your
Well,
screen.
it depends on what aspect you're talking about. The actual resolutions of certain
Yeah, the
items
resolution stuff is better,
are
of course. 'cause
way
it's-
better,
yeah,
way better.
It's the game's 5 years newer, but it's being held back by that
Yes.
TAA, and it's terrible. It is freaking terrible, and especially if you play in 1080p. Oh my god, it looks awful in 1080p. Terrible. Wait,
Bro,
your mic's
yeah,
muted.
You know what's funny?
He's talking to chat.
Yeah, JGod,
Oh,
okay. You know what's funny is even talking to like somebody like my brother who's like a super casual. He's like, dude, like, why are we like going like? He's like, dude, I feel like when we were playing Xbox 360 back in the day, like it didn't look horrible, and we were on like 720p, and he's like, dude, I feel like I'm on 1440p now, and it looks even worse. And this probably explains
Yeah.
a lot of it, to be honest with you.
Well, it depends
Yeah.
on the game because there's certain games that go outside the box and they don't rely on that. So then they end up
Yeah.
looking like they have better fidelity. But even the games that have the hyper like 8K resolution, they still utilize some of this stuff that if you focus on the elements, you'll end up with the same problems.
Yeah, and it has that oil painting problem. When you're running around, things are kind of like mushing together, and I really don't like it. When Modern Warfare 2 came out, I instantly just noticed it looked absolutely terrible. And yeah, if they get rid of the old gen, I think they don't have to rely on it because, again, it's a performance boost thing. So it's being forced, and it's
That's the FOV. Sheesh.
terrible. It's
Aw,
just
constant
too much.
FOV.
That's
You know,
that's what was necessary.
Yeah, you know what's funny too is I've noticed I've played Urzikstan like quite a bit with like ranked and stuff, and I've noticed that there are times where like fences, like kind of like you were saying, like that iron fence that was on in the Black Ops 6 video, like fences will just be completely like invisible, and I could see people behind the fence. I'm trying to shoot them. I'm like, whoa, I'm like, why can't I hit them? And then like somebody like on my team would be like, yo, there's a fence there, and I'm like, dude, I could see them clear as day because they're like 200 meters out, but the fence just isn't rendering because of like what you're saying.
Well, the thing is too is that video was recorded in 4K. The Black Ops 6 part was recorded in 4K. How am I getting flickering in 4K on a multiplayer map? It just doesn't even make sense to me. And the lower resolution you get, the worse it gets, obviously, you know? So it's just man, I hope that this Modern Warfare 4 fixes it.
So this would be in a year and a half, pretty much, right? Like 2026, the end of 2026, we would get this game and no old gen support, which means they can obviously push things a little bit more and not have to. Yeah, talk to me.
That also is for multiplayer. So like when you play BO6 or BO7 or whatever it's going to be called this year, you're still going to be able to play it on your PS4, and then you'll still be able to play Warzone on there. But then going into next year, the following year, when they do MW4, you will, you have to get on a PS5 or the Xbox, whatever Series X, whatever the newest one is. And then you'll also, like on PC, you'll just be able to play it. But then that's it. Like PC will be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So here, does this, I know we talked about a little bit, I think on the last podcast, does this affect at all getting rid of old gen support? Does it affect being able to do like rotating maps? Because I remember I forgot one of the podcasts, we were talking about how like the file sizes are just too big for people who are on PS4s, or does that change anything?
Well, I
at all,
think
you
even just on console, just in console in general, the file size are just generally too big.
Are you
do
sure?
you think this would?
When it's like 500 gigabytes, yes, that's a lot.
Yeah, because on consoles
Yeah.
are not like.
I know consoles
If you
are
actually
dude,
play
they've
video
advanced
games
a lot.
on consoles, like if you play on PS5, if you have Call of Duty downloaded, you inevitably, if you play any new games, you have to delete part of Call of Duty.
Right.
Almost always, unless you have an external, like you bought an aftermarket, like hard drive, you're not gonna have that issue. But other than that, like let's say you go, oh, you know what, I'm playing COD, and then I got to play God of War. You're fucked. If you're gonna play Elden Ring, fucked. You're not just gonna be. You gotta delete COD. Like you literally cannot be a gamer. That's part of the problem with gamers. Why they have to play COD, because that's the only thing they can fucking download. You know.
Yeah.
Has big brain, bro. Big brain. Okay. And then then the next one that they said there is traditional UI, like the older games, more traditional than BO6. Now, I think Hope had tweeted something out saying like, I hope it's somewhat like this. JD, I don't know if you can bring that up, but I mean, Hunter, I feel like you're like, yeah, for some reason, I just feel like you would know more or less what he's talking about. What do you think he means by that more traditional UI? Talking about like Black Ops 2 UI? Like what could possibly...
I don't know. I have no idea on that.
Okay.
That's
okay.
one thing I don't know. I know that Microsoft wanted them to stop focusing on constantly changing the UI and focusing on new innovative things for the franchise, but I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, JD, if you can find that tweet, I don't know if he replied to it or something.
Also, to tack onto this part though, is they also had that other thing that got leaked, like 3 or 4 months ago, where there'd be like a COD committee, which we haven't seen any new leaks about that, where basically there's certain standards of COD that will not change. So for example, like the prestige system is never going anywhere again or whatever. And there's certain fundamental things that they've experimented and they're done reinventing the wheel. They're just going to keep that shit the same. But I don't remember like how long ago that felt like a while ago, but I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look, this is, I don't know if this is what he means. He had tweeted out something like this. Like this is like a fan made one, right?
No, this is Modern Warfare Remastered.
No, this is Modern Warfare Remastered
shit.
with
Is it?
IW came out. Modern
That
Warfare.
just shows I didn't play this
Yeah,
one.
COD 4, Modern Warfare Remastered, yeah.
MWR
Do you
was
like
so
this
good.
simple? I didn't play
Yeah.
I was on IW.
It's the same,
Yeah.
basically.
It's the same. It
easy.
should be the same though. There's no point in trying to refigure out how to go to different parts of the menu. It's not that you don't play the game to explore the
Well,
menu, right?
I will tell you that the reason why it doesn't look like this is monetization.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the way that the tabs work, they do a free item every day almost, so that you end up having to scroll through the store. You'll notice the free thing is never near the top. You have to scroll
Yep.
down a couple pages so you see. That's all strategic. The same thing, you have to tab over through the battle pass. It's all like the gambling microtransaction, like dopamine, like strategy. And that's the way it works that way. And they copy a lot of different elements of mobile games because mobile games have been on that ride for much longer. And it's not unique to COD. All these games are doing that because it works. They're tried and true strategies to get people to incentivize certain things. And there's certain reasons why certain things are certain ways. So for example, I'll give you a very recent one. You know the Splinter upgraded pass, correct?
yeah, it's
so-
between
Yes. So what happens is if you buy the pass, the premium pass, it costs 1,100 COD points. If immediately you wanted to buy out the pass, it costs 1,350. So if you add those together, it ends up being 2,450, which ends up being 50 COD points short to actually, if it was a $20 bundle, because $20 bundle
because you have to put
would
more
give you
money into it.
2,400. So you'd end up with 50 short, and that's super strategic. Obviously, you could play a little bit, and then you would do it the other way. But the 2,450 is 100% min-maxed optimized for you to go ahead and buy it out and be short so that you end up re-upping on some more COD points. It's a troll. That's all
insane.
microtransactions, min-max to the max. There's actually like some pretty interesting videos on it, on how like they have full-on psychologists and people in studio, not maybe necessarily on the behind the scenes, that run the way these things are framed so that it min-maxes profits. It's crazy.
Yep.
Gaming is ridiculous. Yeah.
God damn, son.
But this isn't like the studio. This isn't like Treyarch going, yeah, let's do this. This is Activision
it's just how to maximize,
handling.
how to maximize profits.
It's Activision,
I mean,
doing it. Yeah. And it works. It works. So it is
Any
what it is.
business, I'm sure, does that.
If you're not aware of it, then you don't realize how much they're getting you.
Right. That's actually fucking insane. Like, bro, obviously we know, yeah, they're trying to finesse us for money, right? Like, I think everybody here knows that. But when you break it down like that, I kind of feel like dirty, bro. Like they really be hoeing us, bro. They really be getting us like that, man. Yeah, I mean, all right, well. Okay,
yeah, all the companies do it. EA, 2K, whatever.
Right.
All of them do it. It's not new or unique to COD. Just how they make billions of dollars in microtransactions.
That's why they made the turtle skins all cool and shit. Each of them 2,400.
With different voice lines.
Yeah, with different voice lines. Hey, hold on. I just want to say, how come Terminator can say fuck you as a comm, and then I say that and I get proc chat banned for 14 days?
Yep.
I just want to throw it out there. He goes, fuck you. I said that to some
Well, the thing is, you're the only one that hears it, though.
What do you mean?
No, I hear my teammates. Like, my teammates have it.
They tell you to fuck you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
when,
like,
when you unping something, they go, fuck you.
Oh, really? Shit.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
That shit checks me, bro. I don't even be saying anything crazy. All right, bro. All right, Joe, bring up the tweet again and put it. Yeah, it goes asshole. Okay, then engine being overhauled to address one of its problems. We talked about the visual clutter stuff. Hunter, that's strictly what we were talking about, right? Like the old noise, right? That's not anything else, right? Just that.
I'm gonna assume that's what it is because that makes a lot of sense for sure. Makes a lot of sense.
And then the next one is being developed on dev kits for the next Xbox. Okay, just correct me if I'm wrong. Does this mean that Microsoft allowed them like whatever the new Xbox is going to be, they're building on that? That's not even out?
Not necessarily just them, but just gaming. They might already be on dev kits for PS6 and the Xbox, whatever. So what happens, they design the games on those, and then old gen will be a PS5.
Oh, shit. So by the time this comes out, will there be the new
I mean, it's 2 years from now.
So there will be a new gen?
Yeah.
It could be. It could be.
Could be, yeah,
It could be a
easily.
launch title for them. Not launch title, but around the holidays is usually when they release the new consoles and go that route.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because Ghost came out, and then I think like right after that, the Xbox One came out, and I remember getting.
And they
the
usually
Xbox
do
One,
that
I got
cross
Ghost.
play, cross whatever whatever bundle. But
Yeah.
So PS4 was
Cross-gen
released
bundle.
in 2013 and the PS5 was released in 2020. So it's like a 7-year difference. So 2026, 2027, you could expect a new console, I would say. Maybe they're
God
doing
damn,
it too.
son.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
Okay. That's kind of cool. I didn't know that game devs have access to shit like that. That's pretty fire. Okay. All right, boys. Now to the meats and potatoes, bro. The one that everybody, all the TL has been going crazy about. All of my chat's been fucking going crazy. I want to hear everybody's opinions on this because I read this completely different than what most of the people, everybody in the world is thinking. And again, I don't hope that's not copium. I'm just being blunt here. But let me read it. It says, no Warzone 3 if Verdansk fails to retain current/returning players. So I'm going to let somebody far more educated speak on this real quick. So JGod. Now, initially,
Well, I don't think I'm more educated. I just have an opinion on it that I could talk on.
Yeah,
but I will say that
than me.
what they mean by Warzone 3 is kind of like the overhaul that we had in Warzone 2. So if that means we went to a Warzone 3, we'd get updated to whatever the engine. So it means if you were on an old gen, you wouldn't be able to play the new Warzone. Also, you would lose your skins. The weapons would be different. The mechanics would be whatever the new engine is. So I think that not happening potentially could actually be a good thing because that's kind of what we've been talking about. The part where it could be a little bit tricky is because does that really mean that the game won't be supported anymore? It'll still be live, but it's not like they're going to get seasonal content, which for a live service game, a game without seasonal content is essentially becomes dead.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how it works. You have to have live seasonal content for live service games or else they just die. And games can have their cycles based off content release, peak, valley, and that's kind of the normal cadence of most live service games. So does that mean that we won't have that part? So that's a little bit unknown. And then the other is, okay, we don't go to Warzone 3, but it still gets seasonal content at a consistent tempo, which would be every 2 months or whatever the case is. And we would just have those dips, valleys, high or peaks and valleys again. So it's really like up into interpretation. The problem is it wasn't like 100% clear. And does that mean like, oh, cool, if Warzone's popping because of Verdansk, then they will take the risk on integrating, and then you will lose your skins, your weapons. The mechanics will be slightly different. We won't have that forced anti-aliasing, and it will be supported seasonally, at least for a few more years. So I don't know. It's kind of a little bit wonky, but it would be hard to believe that they would just straight can Warzone and just not support it anymore, because if you play with randoms, all your random teammates will have a paid skin.
Right.
Yep. And no Black Ops 6. They'll have no Black Ops 6 and they'll have a paid skin every time.
Yeah, look, I mean, bro, like,
So that's
okay,
like too much money. There's no way.
I'm gonna be honest here. Like, you know what? Before I speak, I'll let y'all go. But what is y'all's initial thoughts when you read this? Are you thinking, oh, we're not gonna have any more integrations, no Warzone 3, or like no new Warzone, but they're just gonna keep building off of the one that we have now, like we originally wanted for Warzone 1, right? Or do you guys think no Warzone completely? Ebatez, tell me what you think. What's your initial thoughts when you hear this?
When I saw this, my initial thoughts was that we are getting something very similar to Warzone 1, where they kind of had the Cold War integration and stuff. So we will get like some new updates, but they're going to keep the base of the game the same. So the movement or whatever we have is going to stay the same and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that they're kind of like what we have now, like Omni movement, they're going to improve it, and then they're going to split multiplayer Warzone. This is what it sounds like to me, is that they're going to split these things, and there will still be updates, whereas like they'll have like guns into the game that we have for Warzone, but they're not going to change it completely, where it's like Modern Warfare 2, and then it was Modern Warfare 3, then it was Black Ops 6 Warzone. Like they're going to keep it where it was like we had Warzone 2019, and then it was the Cold War integration, but it was the same game just with the guns integrated. That's what I'm thinking. If they want to continue to do updates to Warzone, and I think that it'll kind of split the two a little bit, but they'll still keep them connected so that people are buying the new game and leveling up the guns so that they can use them on Warzone.
Okay, all right. Hunter, what's your thoughts on it?
I don't think they're gonna not do Warzone 3 realistically, because the fact that we're on Warzone 2 again with the Xbox One and PS4, it's holding back a bunch of potential when it comes to tech and innovation. And one example is DMZ possibly being the third game mode for Modern Warfare 4, right? A part of the $70 package. They're gonna have a weather system, right? And it's one of those examples of, is a weather system possible for Warzone if we're still on Xbox One and PS4?
Nah.
And yeah, exactly. We're not going to get a weather system for Xbox One and PS4. I remember for DMZ back in Modern Warfare 2, they wanted to do a weather system. They really, really wanted DMZ to have a weather system. But I think Xbox One and PS4 made it a huge fallback to why they couldn't do it. And I don't see them not integrating future Call of Duty games anymore, because that's part of what helps them make the sales. Is people will buy the games because they want to level up the guns, they want the master camos, right? They want to be able to. I personally,
but it's at what extent of the integration, though, right, Hunter? Like, obviously, it's not going to be like, let's do a full overhaul, but they still get the content.
But people are getting this idea. I've seen it everywhere, all over social media. People get this idea of, yes, let Warzone die. Like, yes, finally, like no more Warzone. Dude, that is never gonna happen. And again, the idea of not being able to use camos and guns, all that, complete BS. That's not gonna happen. I truly would like to move on from the Xbox One and PS4. It's pretty obvious now. I would like to move on from that because I want to be able to have some innovative stuff in the game, because Warzone's been pretty static. We haven't had anything absolutely game-changing at all.
Well, you may know this, but I think when they did a somewhere, I don't remember where it was, but like the amount of players still on old gen, I don't know if we've had an updated number, but like it was like 60% of
Wow.
Like something stupid.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's 'cause
So
they can
I would
still play it.
imagine
Why-
that number's gone down because
Yeah.
part of that number being so high was the fact that PS5s were hard to come by. There were a lot of variables that I think contributed to it, the economy, whatever. And now I would imagine that number is under 50%. But like, what is the actual number, right? Because if the number's too high, then it's like, oh, well, they kind of just, that, like, it is about money, and that's where the money's at. Like,
Right.
you need those players. Essentially going to 100% new gen, you basically said, fuck those players, and now you're not going to get that money. So I understand both sides of it, but we don't really have that number to go off of. I would hope that lowers much, much lower based off where time has gone. People have either swapped to a PC or they've gone with the PS5 or the current Gen X Xboxes. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
well, the thing too is it's like a lot of people have mindset, why would I get a new console when I can still play the game? You know, the whole PS4 is still kicking.
Yes.
You know, that mindset is large of I don't need to get a new console. I can still play it. Dude, Warzone on PS4 and Xbox One, I don't even think it's 1080p. And it does not get a stable 60 frames. So it's like, it's not even bad to let go. It's been literally fucking 12 years, right? We don't, we can move on from the PS4 and Xbox One. And people think that if Warzone dies, that it'll make multiplayer better. Dude, they're not gonna relocate those resources. They're gonna just can the Warzone devs because the game still makes $1 billion, right? They don't need to relocate that.
That's
So
not
I
going to
don't- I
happen.
don't
Yeah.
think- I don't think Warzone 3 won't happen. It does not make sense. And especially if they want to fix the visual clutter and stuff, I would like to get rid of the visual clutter. I'm not a fan of the visual clutter. Modern Warfare 2019 Warzone on an Xbox One looked fine. It looked perfectly fine, and I would like to go back to the state of the game looking fine. So yeah, I don't think Warzone 3 won't happen.
I think it is interesting too because we don't really know how popular the game actually is, like in terms of actual player counts. I know we always reference Steam, which based off what we know from the acquisition, it's around like 5% of the player base, like give or take.
Steam's not.
So like if you 20x that number, like right now it says it's at 53,000 people are online, which you do 20x that means 1 million concurrent. So like it sounds like that's a terrible number. For COD, that probably is because they should be at like 5 million, right? Concurrent at all times. And then with peaks and valleys or whatever. So for COD, yeah, that's dead game, unpopular. But like every game on the market, every competitor of COD, other than probably Fortnite or maybe even Apex, would kill for that number. Like a million
100%.
concurrent. A million concurrent is stupid.
Yeah, and the thing is too is, dude, who uses Steam for COD? Like,
it was so
gets
poorly
less frames.
optimized. If you had COD points, on you do BattleNet. Or now, because of Game Pass, you kind of like force people out of BattleNet and Steam that want the free version free, if you have Xbox Game Pass, onto the Xbox app on your PC. So now you have that option as well. So it's really wonky, whatever that number is, but it's for sure 20x, whatever it says on Steam. Probably even higher.
Probably more.
On top of that,
yeah.
On top of that, they didn't have Steam in the mix with the new stuff, like with Warzone, Modern Warfare 2019, Cold War, and Vanguard. They didn't start until MW2. So, like me personally, I've been on BattleNet since Modern Warfare 2019. I'm not going to switch to Steam.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that plays the game on Steam. Everyone's on BattleNet. So the Steam thing, it's such a stupid argument.
It's funny. It is great for the people that farm the negative views, but I will say that obviously that it's a downward trajectory. It's not as popular as it should be. But
of course.
Like
it's to say
that
that
number,
it's dead, like is,
but to be fair, you could also 20x the negatives. So for example, in December it was at 93K, right? So realistically at 93K, that would have been 20x that. That would have been like 2.7 million people concurrent. So yeah, they lost 1.7 million concurrent. A huge loss, but 1 million still kind of a shit ton of players.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Xbox and PlayStation, it's still the top charts as well. So
yeah,
I mean,
which is kind of
it's been
weird.
the top charts for like the last how many?
I just
months?
wish they were a little
Every
bit more
single month.
transparent with that. I know that they've like it's all about appealing to shareholders or whatever. Because obviously, if people had the real numbers, then we could give actual numbers like, oh, you know what? They went from 3 million down to 1 million. they lost 2 million players. All the articles would be out about it. But on this is like, oh yeah, they lost 12,000 players in the month of December or whatever. Like, who cares? 12,000, like whatever. It's this tiny ass number. But
Yeah, I mean,
it is a little bit odd. And the part that because of the COD HQ nonsense, all the CODs are bundled. So then you give people that out where it's like, oh, people are still on MW 2019 and it still counts as part of that stupid number or whatever. It's silly. I don't know. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. The game is definitely like getting bad publicity and not doing the right things, but it's far from dead. But it's definitely like we're definitely the laughing stock of the video game industry.
Yeah, it's not popular. It's not popular at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I'll say it right now, man. Like, no one actually knows, right? Like JGod said it right now. No one knows what the numbers actually look like, but I am pretty confident that their concurrent is 1 million plus. Like, right? And so for them to say that Warzone will, or like that it's going to be completely canned, I'm gonna be honest,
and it's even funnier because I've talked to devs offline, like for different places, and they always laugh at the Steam number, like that people take it even remotely serious, and that's from a dev perspective, not even like an Activision like person, you know, it's like
right.
They just find it laughable that people even care about the Steam number as if it represents anything. So it's kind of funny. That like it makes me even more lean into the fact that number is probably way, way, way higher than the 20x that we think it is.
Bro, like okay, yeah. I'm assuming we won't get in trouble for saying that, right? But like, like devs have told us, like, bro, don't look at Steam charts. Like, I mean, so whenever I see that, I'm like, yeah, okay, you can kind of tell, like, hey, like it did lose a lot, but at the same time, remember, I'll be honest, I don't know who the fuck uses Steam. Like, I don't know. I don't know who the fuck uses Steam on like for PC. I'm not to say like, okay, that's not me making fun of anybody for using Steam. I'm just saying that everybody uses Battle.net, or pretty recently, obviously with the whole Xbox Game Pass stuff, more likely people are switching to that because it's quote unquote free or whatever, right? So very few people do use it, and they're in the minority if you do use it, right? So like,
yeah,
I wish they were just public about it, right? Because from what I hear behind the scenes is numbers are good. Like, numbers are good. Yes, they're not great, right? But it's not like, oh, it's dead, right? Like,
yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, again, I don't. Whenever I hear that, I immediately am just like, like I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt, because can you bring up Enigma's tweet, puppy? There. So this is what I initially thought when I read Ghost of Hope's tweet. Now, reading Doug's and the way Charlie interworded it definitely, I would change the way I think
well,
about
to be
right?
fair, I think Charlie tweeted it and then Doug like went with that version of the thing, because that last line, unless Doug says that last line, that is totally with bias. They transformed the original thing. Like, obviously you could look at it optimistic or pessimistically, but the way they converted it, you can't like read it any other way than negative for how they wrote it.
Right. So like, again, like, so this is what my boy Enigma said. Everyone's reading that first point differently to me, I swear. I'm seeing that as we'll just keep building on the old one. Am I just coping here, or isn't that exactly what we asked for? Well, exactly be total standalone, but you know what I mean. Right? So,
oh no, yeah, he copied Hope verbatim. Yeah, which is good.
Yeah. So this right here is where a lot of people are. They're kind of in the middle right now, right? Obviously, do I think, bro? I think Call of Duty makes way too much fucking money. like bro, Warzone, I think if anything, they'll switch to like Blackout 2. They'll change it up, right? But for them to ever do another, I don't think they'll ever stop being a BR, in my opinion. Like, it was just way too successful. Now, again, I can see why people, when he says Warzone 3, how people can get that, you know, but just obviously based off everything that I know, being in the scene for this long, and obviously going to these you know, play tests and shit like that from fucking, you know, ranked back in the day, and talking to these devs, like I personally just don't see this happening anytime soon. Even if this is 2026, right? 2-3 years from now, whatever that is. But hey, if it does, it does. But just my personal opinion, I don't think it'll happen. Now, do you think something replaces it? And I said maybe Blackout 2. Do you not? Hunter, you said no.
Not a chance where there's a Blackout 2. Not a chance
Yeah, I don't agree.
in the
I agree.
world.
I agree.
I would say zero.
Zero. The name
Not
Warzone
even a
itself.
non-zero. There's no
Yeah,
chance.
Hunter.
Yeah, the name
Branding,
Warzone
but-
itself, it carries like a in-house name. Like everyone knows what
It's got
Warzone
aura.
is, right?
Just max
Yeah, no one's
aura.
going to go Blackout 2. No, bro. The first
And-
one did not even like launch the series into a new stratosphere. It wasn't Blackout was not revolutionary. They made it because Fortnite came out and they needed to compete. Originally, Blackout was not even supposed to happen. There's supposed to be an open world Black Ops 4 campaign. It was supposed to be a Black Ops 4 co-op open world campaign.
But they scrapped
And
the
they just
campaign.
said-
That's why the game
They
didn't
scrapped
happen.
it and they did Blackout. Blackout was never like a long-term goal. That was never a thing.
I think it ended up being like a cool little like use case where they learned a bunch from it. But I think the genre evolved quite a bit. I think the people that for that style of why I don't think it'll come back is because it's like a dated form of battle royale, right?
Oh,
I think a
yeah.
lot of the different battle royales are continuing to evolve and implement things that are less traditional, that don't appeal to the hardcore purist of battle royales. Even Fortnite has continued to evolve this too. I don't know if you saw the thing, but you're able to get like, I saw them tease it. I don't know if it's already in their game, but essentially you're able to get like the reboot tokens, like buy them with gold in the game. So it's kind of like using them like a buy
okay.
station to get the reboot token. If like, so it's like they
I know what you're saying.
implemented a buy station
Some
mechanic
type of buy station.
to buy back your teammate into Fortnite, which obviously Apex had that similar element where you had the reboot card from the box. You go take it to the little
Even off the
redeploy
grid.
beacon off the grid. All these games have slowly pushed away from that because there's so much more casuals that enjoy not spectating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's the worst part about Blackout. Is just
Yep.
spectating. You get killed, you can't come back, and it's so annoying. Fortnite had the same thing. I remember back in the day when we were playing squads, they had no reboot van. One person dies off rip. Oh, back out, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
everyone
think that
backs
kills
out.
the health. It makes
So-
the game unhealthy.
I think for solos play, like if you're Iron or OP marked or rallied, whoever plays solo, like the game doesn't really, those mechanics don't even impact those players, so it's fine, they can still
Yeah.
play. And that's why like I think even Warzone, but the Warzone went too far with the needle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
for
that's
sure.
what we've seen. So there's a balance. I think there'll never be games that come out and be uber successful that do not have respawn mechanics, except for like
100%.
hardcore niche. So like, what's the Escape from Tarkov? Super strict on that element.
Right.
But they've also capped how far they can grow because a casual will not play that game. It just will not. Like,
Yeah.
it's just how it works. So they've kind of capped it, but the community they're fostering is super hardcore into what they're building, right? And they love it. They are passionate about it, but it's hard for them to continue growing. Versus you make it as casual as possible, you could really reach everywhere, but then you do lose that niche audience. So I think that's what happened with COD. Is Warzone started off with where we kind of were in that middle ground, and then they pushed it way
Yeah.
too far. And I think now they're dialing it back, especially with some of the leaks we've heard, as well as some other stuff that I think will launch with season 3.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
so
and
look,
to that-
like, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, sorry. To add on to the Blackout thing too, is loadouts are a huge deal because the gun you're holding in your hand and the way you're playing with the gun, it changes how the game feels, right? So we had the XM4 and Jackal meta for months. It was so unbearable. And then they recently have been changing the meta a lot. It makes the game feel different, right? Different scopes, different guns. It adds all these elements where it makes it way more replayable versus Blackout. I mean, if you like Blackout, you like Blackout. I didn't like it because it doesn't have that replay value because you drop in, you loot the guns, detachments. It's the same thing over and over again.
Well, there's
versus
also the
Warzone-
RNG element of it as well. Like,
yeah, exactly. And the thing with Warzone is, conversion kits were a huge thing, right? Conversion kits made the game feel way different because you're using something different, right? Versus Warzone or Blackout, it was like, all right, you need a suppressor, you need this gun, bam, go in. Warzone, it's like, all right, they came out with a musket for the Morse. All right, I can change how I play. The Superi right now, you can run really fast with the Superi. It makes the game feel different. There's all these different things with loadout drops where I do not see Blackout ever happening because
So
the loadout system.
with Blackout as
No
well,
dis-
and you might know more than they. Didn't they have like tier 2, tier 3 items too, where it was like super broken? Like if you didn't have that like tier level weapon,
Well, they
like,
had
you would just die?
the level 3 armor where it had like a
Right.
head cover. There was a lot of things
Okay.
that they could make a blackout today, and it would be infinitely better than the previous iteration.
Yeah.
But I think it wouldn't be Warzone.
Right.
Yeah, 100%. The play system, I think the play system is way better. If you like Blackout, though, man, go play Blackout. Still there, but not a chance of happening again.
Look, like, okay.
Yeah.
So speaking on, I kind of want to dig on what like JGod had said, right? If Blackout didn't succeed for whatever reason, right? And Warzone was introduced, and that was a lot more successful. I get it, free to play, right? And now I agree with JGod. They pushed the needle way too much this way, where they pretty much made a glorified resurgence on big map. I personally think that their original version of Warzone was the best because not only for the movement standpoint, because I think people think about Modern Warfare 2019, they're like, oh, movement. I think about it more of like, bro, it just felt like it catered to everybody. Like it actually felt like Warzone's version of a BR, right? And so if there's a needle and the needle's going all the way over here where there's redeploy tokens, flares, gulags, like 3,000 buys, like all this stuff, it no longer has that feel, right? The 100 players, it no longer has that feel, 120 players. Now you get, if we go back to Verdansk OG, 150 players, $4,000 buybacks, no gulag tokens. Like it's like, hey, like your teammate's got to work for you. Like I think that is the best of both worlds. That is the best of, hey, if the game feels good, it's 150 players, so it's harder to win. So when you get to end game, oh, you are sweating. Like it's not like, let's say 100 players. I mean, still 100 players is still pretty obviously big, but like you bring 150, it changes the element, right? Like for even the change from $3,000 to $4,000 buys back in the day, that's a big difference, right? So like, I don't know. Do you guys think? I feel like not a lot of people talk about that version of Warzone back
what's
in the
funny
day.
too, and I think that's something that we've also never talked about, is I think that if they really wanted to do the weapon balancing stuff, they could actually balance Rebirth different than BR.
Okay.
So,
way?
like for example, like one-shot sniping. Maybe one-shot sniping works different on you balance it different. Just the same way like you couldn't one-shot snipe in ranked. Maybe I don't know if that's too confusing for players though, but realistically, it would be like one of those things where you could balance things slightly different for Rebirth based off how the engagements handle versus Warzone. Because if you were going to go on Rebirth right now, the meta is a little bit different because of the viability of ranges that you challenge people. You could actually balance the games differently, I think, and it would make things even more interesting because then you can dial in the specific for the way those modes play. But I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Have you guys been playing Big Map recently?
have.
Like normal?
I don't.
Like 100
Ranked.
Oh, okay. I've been playing a lot of like
I've played
quads. I
Pullze.
think 150 players is way better, but for sure they need to dial back on the being able to respawn so much. Because dude,
Yeah.
last circle's got like 40 people.
It's fucking
It's-
awesome.
It's,
I don't, but like,
insanity.
Yeah.
for casuals, that sucks, right? Like, I get it.
Well, no,
Dude,
it's in
I
general.
have,
It's not.
dude,
Well, it sucks
I
in
don't know about you.
general
I
because it's
fucking
like
love this
it's
shit.
not a battle royale though. It doesn't feel like a battle royale because there's like
Right.
5 buys in the last circle. People are coming back
Yeah.
left and right. I think 150 players on Verdansk is gonna be great when they clean up the cluttery respawn issue. I think it'll be
Yeah.
fantastic.
We've
'cause
talked about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you. I don't want redeploys. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying right now, like based off the way the game felt at 120 to what it feels like at 150, I'm having the most fun I've ever had. Again, I came from ranked where I was getting fucking hacked on top to 50 lobbies and just like so now
There's
I'm
not nearly
having
as many
pubs,
in
like,
pubs.
Oh no, dude,
it's still pretty
I'm
bad
telling
though. It's
you,
still bad.
I love pubs. I love solo squatting. I love like that. I've had the most fun on stream in the last week and a half since it came out week than I've had in the last like 4 months since the game's come out. And just strictly all I'm doing is just playing solo squads, like just having fun. And I cannot wait to feel how that feels like when it actually does feel like BR, right? Like
Yeah.
if they can find a way, obviously I completely doubt they're gonna fucking put flares, gulag tokens, like stuff like that in when Verdansk comes out. They would be fucking trolling if they did that. Like so, I don't like the way it is now. I'm having way more fun. I just can't wait, to see what the game actually looks like, and I hope it feels like actual BR.
To
Yeah,
add
because they
on
did
to
say
kinda
they're
what-
testing it.
To add on to what you were saying, Hunter, like I do think another issue. This is kind of like not a little off topic, but I got into a gulag the other day with the 150 player map count or whatever, or 150 player count, and I got $18,000 in the gulag, and then all I did was I landed, bought a gulag token and bought a loadout, and I was just back in the game, and it's like that's not very like BR.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it was just like such a slap to the face. I feel like for like an authentic BR experience. So hopefully they can clean that up because that was crazy too. I'm like, bro, I just got $18,000 in a gulag.
What's funny about that too is those changes actually benefit you obviously entirely.
Right.
And it makes it so that good players win a higher percentage of the time.
Right.
Because obviously if he couldn't come back and get a gulag token, then like if he dies again, he's kind of assed out. But now him as a better player, he can ensure that he's making it to end game. So casuals are much less likely to make it to end game because they're not going to be able to do the behaviors and move at the speed that you would. So it's kind of funny that that you would advocate for less of those things because it benefits the sweats, right?
Us the most.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
100%.
kind of funny when people say, "Oh, you just want to worry about your." No, if it was, then we would be advocating for these systems that we already have.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
I just want to point that out because that's like us getting rid of those buyback mechanics is like for casuals, like actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it's really cluttered in endgame, and I agree. Because when I can buy a gulag token, I'll die, win my gulag, I'll come back, buy a gulag token, and I'll just play like a crash out, die again, go to the gulag again, I come back, buy another gulag token. That I think they need to like seriously eliminate because
realistically,
we didn't need it in
it's not
Verdansk.
like I'm gonna kill his Soka on the map. Him come back, I'm not going to probably kill him again. If I kill him a second time, there's like 0 chance I'm killing him 3 times. Like, it's not going to happen, you know? Like, there's no way.
Yeah, they've reduced.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that was kind of the point.
Oh. Yeah, I agree with that. And they definitely have reduced redeploy flares, though. I've noticed redeploy flares are really rare. One thing I've noticed there's too much of is the gulag tokens in the chest, for sure. It's almost like every chest you get one. You get them too much in care packages. And then the portable buys, there's a lot of portable buys in normal gameplay. And I don't know if you guys know this, but care packages are overpowered. You can buy a care package, hold it all game, throw it end game. There's a high chance you get a deployable buy out of it. And that's where the issue lays. I remember I was playing yesterday. I bought my teammates back like 4 times in the last circle. And I just kept saying, land on them, land on them, land on them, land on them, buy.
Yeah.
But 150 players is great. And I know they said they're doing that to test it, to see like how things are. Servers are fine. Surprisingly, they're not even. I'm not having server issues.
Servers
150 people, and it works great. I hope they see this data and they go, okay, yeah, let's strip these respawn elements out. So it's more risky of go to that buy station and possibly risk dying, do the king. I hope so, but it's looking good on that element for the 150 players.
On the topic of like loot, like something I want to touch on a little bit is like they need to make loot like you said, gold chests, most wanted crates, care packages, stuff like that. Like they need to start making it where only those things can give you like self revives or like
big items.
like utility box. Like an advanced UAV would be cool from like a strong like a bunker or something. Like they need to start making like those special things in the game very special and unique. Like I don't know if you guys know or if you guys are frustrated with as well, but the money system we have right now is so annoying. Like there will be so many times where I'm at like $7,290. It's like, where did the $90 come from? Because it used to be, I think, just 500 and then like 1,000. Like it was very even.
I think it's the way the multiplier works. If somebody dies, the money splits.
Yeah, it's
weird.
just for me. I'm just like, dude, I love the simplicity of just the money system that we used to have of just 500,000, 1,500 or whatever it was. And I kind of hope that again. Gold crates are like anywhere between like 3,000 to like 8,000, and like the normal crates just give you like 500 to whatever, like 1,000 or something. Hopefully they can give that authentic PR experience again.
Yeah, and the thing is too with Verdansk, we didn't have Verdansk. It'll be interesting to see if they implement things like cash registers and other Warzone 2S things into Verdansk. Because if there's cash registers in Verdansk, I think that'll be a little bit more helpful to the money situation. And the thing we never talked about too is the floating loot.
I think we did, didn't we?
Wait, was that?
No, I don't think we talked about it.
We didn't talk about it.
I think last pod
no,
we did.
I don't think we.
No, it
we
just
haven't had a
got
pod
leaked
since all the leaks.
recently.
No, we didn't.
Yeah,
bro, my brain is so I'm about to say my brain's so out of it because of videos.
I think we've all done videos. Yeah.
Wait, okay, so we have. What have we not talked
Good.
about then since the latest fucking?
It
we haven't talked about
was-
floating loot in here.
We haven't talked about floating loot, 150 players, I think, and something
Oh
else.
my god, I'm confusing
Oh,
my
red
personal
doors.
videos
Red
with
doors.
podcast.
Red doors as well.
Oh, all right, okay. Let's talk about fucking floating loot, fellas. Holy
Yep.
shit, yo.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a big deal. Actually,
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, bro, so many people have been, dude. I remember, was it last? No, Warzone 2. I think, bro, so many people were just like, why is it not floating the white? Like, it was such a huge deal, and people were so fucking pissed. And finally, after what, 3 years, you know, we probably have it back.
About 2.5.
2.5, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I personally, if this is true, I'm fucking up. I'm up. Thoughts
Yeah, well,
thoughts on
we
the
have to
fellas.
explain why, though. We have to explain why. I think why it's
Okay.
a big deal is because one thing about Warzone is it's not like a campaign, right? You don't know what's gonna happen. Anything can happen at any moment. It's not a story game. It's a battle royale. So one thing I think that's huge floating loot is you're spending less time looking straight into the ground. That has
bad
been a big problem.
behaviors
Is you're
from
looking, yeah, you're looking straight into the ground trying to figure things out, and versus, you know, let's say you kill somebody, you're kind of a couple meters away, and you're in any game. You go, okay, maybe. Oh, am I seeing that right? Is there a kill streak floating? You know, it's rotating. It's floating.
Yep.
It's rotating. Like, all right, I get that. Versus if it's flat in the ground, you don't know. Is it a heartbeat sensor? Am I going to run out there and grab a heartbeat sensor?
Yeah.
And it helps so much in general because you're not sitting there.
Your line
You're
of sight.
not picking up a gun. Yeah, you're not picking up a gun over again. Like, ah, fuck, I don't want that. I don't want that. I need this. No. Give me this. It's like, all right, you know exactly what you want to grab. It's simple. It's easy.
I think that also, like, hopefully this carries over to the contract system. I don't really like the way that they do the contracts now, where they're like
Oh,
laptop on a shelf or whatever the fuck. Like, it's also like,
Yeah. It's
What
so,
the
yeah,
hell? It was
sometimes.
so easy
How was
for
it? How was it back
you would
then?
just run into the room and it's just floating there in the middle of the room.
Like, so it was
Yeah.
like floating loot. It was like floating loot, like a contract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And now it's
and
laptops and,
it would look like those little like floating key card almost, and it would just be like picking up. Yeah, it's such a
Yep.
dumbass
Yeah, and
system
now-
My
that
only
they have now.
any laptop, and it's sitting
My-
inside a shelf, so you have to like get the right angle to grab
Actually,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. My only concern with floating loot, I think the issue that's really bad with the looting system right now is like we've talked about on the pod, but where if you're looking straight and you like are doing something, it'll automatically pick something up even if you're not looking at it. So now that things are kind of elevated, it might make that situation even worse. That's my only concern because if they haven't really fixed that problem, and if they're out now elevating the loot a little bit more to where it's closer to your body, that situation might get worse. But I'm
I
hoping
don't
that
know
they
because it wasn't
have polished it.
like that in the first one. There was
Right,
no
but-
problem with the first one.
But like
The
we've
only
talked about,
problem
they
that
have
we
to
ever had with
redo.
floating loot is when things were on top of each other. You're trying to get a vest,
Right.
and then it's like
But
fucking
now-
grabbing SMG ammo. It's like, give me the damn
Yeah.
plate.
Try, yeah.
But like you said, Hunter, I mean, they're not just copy and pasting it from the old one to now. So they have to redo this completely.
Yeah, that's
so like
true.
that's what I'm saying is with the current looting system, we have that issue where it's probably the same developers trying to implement it into the new game. I have a feeling that that issue is going to arise, but I hope it doesn't.
Yeah, and it sucks too when you're trying to grab plates, man. When you're trying to grab plates and they're flat on the floor, sometimes the
Yeah.
auto pickup doesn't work. That's the most frustrating thing. So I hope the
I
floating
hate
loot.
that shit. Auto
comes
pickup
back.
is like my biggest. That like even now,
Dude.
like, you have to, it takes
doesn't
like
work.
it's like there's a cooldown. Like there's like a 1 second delay of when you can run over plates or run over things before it auto picks up for
Right.
you.
Another
Yeah.
thing that I think would be huge, not even for the nostalgia factor, but just as a quality of life, are plates staying in satchels and you can grab the plates out of the satchel. Because right now you can't do that.
Oh.
The plates kind of get scattered, and we used to be able to grab the old plates out of the satchel and it would stay there. Like just from like a visual perspective, it was
think
a
I
lot
remember
better
that.
in my opinion. Way, way better. And now
Forgot
you can't.
about
You
that,
can
yeah.
only grab a new satchel and it'll give you 3 plates, but you can't grab plates out of a satchel on the ground.
I mean, look, bro. Like even this, so like floating loot. I think everybody. There's very few people that I've ever heard say they like the current system better than this, right? So if this is coming, fuck yeah. I think we're all like. I think we all are in agreement that this is the way it should be, and they should never stray away from this. This is fucking fire. The other leak that Ghost of Hope did on that same day was Red Doors are scheduled to be returning in a separate season in the near future. So I'm not even. Of course, I love Red Doors. I think that's fucking fire. But this kind of brings up the question: are they going to be doing other things like Red Doors future seasons to come?
That's exactly what I said in my video too. I
Wait,
said
did
that
you?
kind of
Did you?
gives me more hyped about What other things we got? Will those be seasonal
Right, right.
updates?
So will we get something like how OG Fortnite has right now, where like they're doing season 1 for 1 month, season 2 for another month, and then et cetera, et cetera. Are we gonna get things like Nakatomi Tower one day? Right? Like, is that a possibility? Because
That's a collaboration thing. So the Plaza thing is a collaboration thing, but they could technically like rebrand it, change a little bit of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
The thing about the red doors too, that gives me hope, is that means that there's no balloons and all that, like redeploy drones. That gives me kind of hope about that, because I think red doors is a better system, because you randomly find them and you don't know where you're going, so there's a risk element to it. And
Yeah.
you guys remember the red doors also would teleport you to a little room under farmland or
Yup,
in
dude,
random
yeah.
rooms
You
across
got
the map
so
with loot.
much shit.
Yeah, so
Oh
there's
my gosh.
actually more reason to that, and it made more sense. I hope that is where we're leaning towards, is, all right, I'm going to hit this. It's either going to get me a bunch of loot, or I'm going to be somewhere random in the
Yep.
sky to go. And there's different risks to that, because you can go somewhere you don't want to go, right? I think that adds a far better element, and it's way more unique than, all right, throw a ring down, let's go fucking pop UAV, land on these guys, instantly kill them because we just landed above them. I think there's way different risk to that sort of thing, for sure.
Dude,
yeah,
this was
Oh.
right here,
explore the
bro.
rooms.
So
This was
good,
yeah,
bro.
This was not the one
Bro.
underneath farms, but dude, this was like genuinely.
Damn, they're playing a widescreen and round
this
mini
switching?
map. What a fucking clown.
Yo, dude, I would love to see, I know I've talked about it a little bit on like the competitive side of things, but just advanced UAVs in general, I feel like need to be a very, again, just making the very rare things so special. It's like, oh my God, I just got an advanced UAV. Instead of just being able to pop 3 UAVs on a fire zone, like, oh, we have an advanced, like it just, there's no value to those things anymore. But like, if you got this red room, you're like, fellas, we just got an advanced UAV. We're about to fry. Like, it was like
how
such an
expensive-
excitement.
How expensive were UAVs back in the day?
They were $6K, but the money back then wasn't like what we have now. It was not like, you were not just running around with 40, 50K as a squad. Like, it was.
Yeah,
I'm-
money's bloated now, for sure. The money's
Yeah.
way
Well,
bloated.
you could get money back then if that was a goal. So I remember they
Oh, UAVs were 4K, my bad, 4K.
You could farm multiple because of the way the multiplier worked. So you could actually just stack fat cash with
Yeah.
doing them contract after contract. And there was actually cheeses with that. So you could sit next to a buy that wouldn't close. You'd buy a bunch of munitions. You could sit in the gas with stims because they wouldn't despawn as long as you flipped them. But that's a...
So
Yeah,
do you guys
contracts
like
did
the
used to
way-
multiply.
Do you guys like the way money is
yeah.
now, or do you want it something more aligned with what Verdansk OG was?
The scaling system was way better.
I like the
in my opinion,
scaling
for
system.
contracts. Way
Okay.
better because
Yeah.
you couldn't just get 3K each right off the first contract. You'd have to scale them, and it would kind of just make the early game more authentic again, kind of that slower pace. Like you had to actually work your way up in order to get to that late game.
Well, one of the things that I think has also been weird is some of the design decisions for the game have come out of the fact that what they originally designed for Warzone isn't how people played it. I remember one of the events we went to, they said that originally when Warzone dropped and they had play tested it, it never played the way it was once it went to live. One of the things that was different was that streamers or good players made it the meta to get a loadout as fast as possible. Like that wasn't part of their like, oh shit, this is how we play Warzone. It's like what evolved from the game. So their original vision didn't involve you landing boneyard, looting up 5 chests, popping the loadout instantly within a minute and a half. That wasn't their vision. Same with Superstore or any of those. That just wasn't the thing that was originally planned. The game evolved that way, and it's kind of like a happy accident where they stayed with it and it worked. But all these changes were like to try and get out of that. But anytime they push back on that, it's always led to negative sentiment with the community every single time.
Yeah, 100%. Well,
I mean-
it will be different too, because we can buy guns now in Verdansk. That's gonna be a little interesting. Because
I hope they chalk that, but
yeah, well, because imagine you get 2,500 Superstore, you go run by your SMG real quick, and you come back and kill everybody, right?
Just
That's
fry
an
out.
interesting idea. And I think the money right now, I feel like it's a little too bloated. I feel like there's too much money right now because, dude, people spam UAVs like crazy on Big Map right now. It's
True.
UAV, 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 UAV. You're always on a UAV which then makes you go, okay, like, do I want to avoid going to this buy station? And like, let's say you're last guy alive, right? UAVs are going off like crazy. You're going to avoid buy stations. You're going to avoid all these different areas because there's constant UAV. So right now, I think it's a little too bloated. I think it's too bloated right now for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, these are the things that I don't really recall, right? I'm not a game developer. I just remember playing the game back in the day, and I fucking loved it, right? Like that's as simple as it was for me.
Right.
But obviously, as we continue to play the game for however many years, we start to see the changes and things that we make, and then like next thing you know, it's like, oh fuck, we went so far away from what the original is that we loved, right? So whatever made the game feel like BR back in the day, whatever made the game feel like the stakes were high, whether it be 150, I think that definitely does play a part, because obviously we see now I'm having way more fun in the game now with 150 players. If they do bring that back, that'd be awesome. Whether it be economy, right? Is economy too crazy now, right? Do they need to dial that back to, was it different back in the day, right? Like, even something as simple as like buybacks being 4K instead of 3K. If the economy is more balanced, then that $1,000 does make a difference. Because even right now, I feel like if you were to upgrade the buybacks to 4,000, even right now with the economy, you'd be like, I don't even notice it. Like, you go from 3K to like 6K, 7K buyback. Right now, it's like, oh shit, you're gonna feel that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just because money's so prevalent. So yeah, dude, I don't know. Either way, Verdansk pushed back to the 3rd of April. I'm excited. I hope that they cook, man, because goddamn, if they don't, shit. GG's, man. But yeah, boys. Any kind of closing thoughts, fellas?
We got 1 month.
Yeah, we got a whole month, bro. I'm gonna take a vacation to it. Oh man.
Well, just hope it's fun. I hope it has color, not Urzikstan color, because I'm getting tired of the gray scale right now. No, even Caldera had way more color than this. Like,
dude, I hated Caldera colors. I hated that shit.
I mean, they changed it though. Like, remember we went from a rainy day, sunny day to sunset kind of thing. So
true, they did.
With Warzone, I hope Verdansk has good lighting for sure, because I'm getting sick of the. It's really dark on Urzikstan. Like, there's too many incidents, whatever the word is. Sorry. Where people are too dark in a corner. That is a main problem right now, is there's too many people. Okay, hold on. Isaac just said something huge. Get rid of partial fall damage. Yes. Let's talk about that. Dude, why am I falling 4 feet and I'm plating up and then I have to stop because I fell 4 feet?
Yeah.
I'm okay with fall damage. I just don't like that it like stuns you and then also stops your animations. But I do understand fall damage, I feel like, is good for the game, because before it was either you break your legs or you took no damage at all. So I think that there should be fall damage. Like, there should be a penalty to just hitting the floor.
But don't stop the shit that you would do.
Don't stop. Yeah, and don't make me thump and like have this giant stun and all that stuff. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, well, it stops health regen too. Yeah, okay, so that's a good point actually. While we're talking about it. So remember in what's the bottom left POI? It was like those slanted roofs that were a couple story high with the metal. You have to climb the ladder to get on top of the metal slanted roofs. You know what I'm talking about?
It's by like pomegranate.
Yeah, so you could literally like just fall off that. You wouldn't take any fall damage. You'd be good to go. I hope when we go into this new game, you don't fall off and take a bunch of fall damage, because that would really freaking suck.
It'll be the same as it is right now. There's no way they change that. Like, I don't think they're gonna change that.
How do you know that though?
Because it just doesn't feel like that's not their focus, like on anything like that. That would just be weird. I feel like a weird change.
It's a different map though. It's a different map. There's different design philosophies. When they made Urzikstan, they made it with Modern Warfare 3 movement in mind. If you watch the behind the scenes video of Urzikstan, they made that map with Modern Warfare 3 systems in mind. They literally said, all right, we have a balance of open and close because we have this fast movement system. And with Verdansk coming in, you never know. They could be like, all right, this doesn't play right when you're falling off all these different buildings. So you never know. They could realistically change some things with the mechanics.
Yeah. I just think it's like the same thing as Rebirth. Like, they didn't change any of like the fall mechanics. We just got like Mountaineer. It was kind of like a band-aid solution to what like the actual problem was. So I feel like it just won't play the same, because I feel like they're just going to take the same approach as like they're just going to keep fall damage in and then see how it plays, and then they'll probably make adjustments later. Like, I do agree though, like fall damage should be in the game. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing, but it's just the stunning and like it stops your animations. It just ruins the game. And also, I don't know if you guys know, like, I think this is a part of the fall damage thing. If you're running on like a wall, for example, like a wall that's a foot tall, and you're tack sprinting on the wall, if you fall that 1 foot, your tack sprint stops. Like it just completely ruins it. So that's another issue with fall damage. I think what kind of like, again, what you're kind of talking about is that
have you guys been playing with the stamina bar?
No, I don't have it on.
I just run out with the knife, which is great. Shout out that shit's so fire, bro. I can't lie.
That is
You can turn the stamina bar on?
Yeah, they added it with the recent update.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I got to turn that on. I didn't even know that.
Only for Warzone. It's kind of like hidden in the UI stuff, I think.
It looks weird.
You could put it in different places. You could either put it under your hipfire crosshairs, or you could put it under the actual health bar.
Isn't it like a little like guy? Like I was watching who had it on? Youngsters. It was like a guy running. It was like a little character running with a bar.
Right.
Like, that's weird. Right? I thought it was just gonna be like I thought it was just gonna be a bar, like a white bar underneath like something that just showed
like a little
you, like,
line. Because that's what we used to have.
Yeah,
We used to have a
3.
line for a little bit.
That's what it is in Modern Warfare 3. But it's like a whole ass fucking. I think it's a whole ass character like this, and then it's a bar like going up. I think from what I saw, it was weird, bro. I don't know. Look, when it comes to this kind of, what is this?
Stamina bar. I didn't even know this. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know this was a thing. Oh.
Yeah, it has
Kinda
the little
fire.
bar.
It's so weird.
Oh, okay. Well, that reminds me of do you know that attachment they just had that was really useless? The LMG with the belt-fed mag, where
Oh yeah.
Useless.
yeah. So what's weird is in multiplayer, it actually has a bar that shows you when it's gonna overheat, but in Warzone that bar doesn't exist.
You have to guesstimate.
Yeah. That's one thing too, man, is they need to make better like attachments if they're gonna add attachments in. One attachment that changed the game, I remember, was what's that grip? The Jack Slasher?
Jack Slash.
Yeah.
That was huge. And then that optic, that one that's from Advanced Warfare. What was that optic called? It had
Jack,
like, it was like this.
Jack Glassless.
Yeah,
Jack
dude, we
Glassless
need better attachments, man. The attachments they've added so far have been like just dirt.
Well, that's been a problem is since Warzone 2, we have like 80 scopes and like 3 of them are viable. It's like actually insane.
Like there's
they've definitely
attachments
done that down.
changed the game. Like bro,
Right.
Mono changed the game. Jack Slashes changed the game. Like what's that barrel that was in Modern Warfare 3, but then they knew it was too broken. Or muzzle that like changed the fucking game. They've done things like that.
It was another Jack. It was the
All the
it was
fucking
it was
Jack
another-
me offs, bro. Those are fucking insane.
Yes,
bro.
the Jack BFB. That was insane.
BFB. All the Jacks were fucking going rogue. Like I agree. They need to add some things to like spice up the game here and there. But yeah, going back to what Isaac said. Isaac brought up a good point. I agree with you, Isaac. Now that you broke it down like that, I think you're right. I agree with you. I don't think you should take any fall damage until you break your legs, like back in the day.
I think so.
It was just simpler.
Yeah,
It's just simpler.
Now
Yeah.
that I read it, I actually thought about it. It's one of the things that like there's little moments whenever you're playing the game where you might not recall right away, but that happened to you, and it's like they're like in your brain, it's like negative dope. Like you're like, ooh, I hate this, and you don't notice it until like
It builds up over time for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it now whenever I'm challenging and I'm like jumping off a roof and I'm like, I know I'm gonna stop playing here. I know I'm gonna stop running. I know it's like I know that I'm regenerating, and but if I jump down, I'm gonna stop regenerating. Like there's these little things that just like,
Yeah,
you know,
No,
and
I get what
that's
you're
one of
saying.
them.
I think it might be the unpopular opinion, but I just think that fall damage is good, but just the negative or like the negative like slowdown and like all the like what is it, negative effects, I guess, is like what's unhealthy. Because I think like jumping off of a top roof to like push like to follow somebody, like I feel like there should be some kind of like trade off there. Like, okay, I cracked him so I can jump off and take this fall damage so I can trade him out. But if you're just like mindlessly just running, I feel like you should have to think, oh, should I take fall damage here or should I pull my parachute? And that's just kind of how I see it. I feel like it's a good balance.
Verdansk had a
That's
mind with it.
Hey,
Well, we have
IW would
omni
love
movement,
you,
though.
Ebatez. IW would hire you, bro.
We have omni movement. Hey, this goes back to the fall damage thing. We have omni movement. Why can't we utilize it to its full potential? Why do we have to be hindered by the fall damage, right? So imagine, you know, on Verdansk, you're on top of one of those slanted roofs I was just talking about. Imagine you could omni move off that and while you're shooting somebody, right? But you can't because you got to worry about, you know, dying to fall damage.
Like I
Again,
said, I
we're
think the
being hindered
damage
by
isn't
it.
the big deal. I think all of us would agree that it's the delays and the massive delays and stuff. I think like we can both make an argument, right, for the damage thing, but I think everybody agrees that the like slow, like when you like get stunned and stuff, and also
Break
it
your
like
legs.
cancels all your animations and all that stuff is like super unhealthy in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just I feel like anything that they introduced in Warzone 2, take that shit out, bro. Like, is there anything that Warzone 2 introduced that was good? Like, I'm not even trying to be a hater here. I'm just being so
Nukes.
dead ass. Like, and nukes were fire, but guess what? They removed those.
Yeah.
They took those out. That was the only thing that they did good in Warzone 2 was nukes.
I mean,
I
could
will
they
say-
come back though?
Yeah, I think
Nukes
so.
I
will
think
probably
they
come
will.
back in
I think they
Verdansk.
will.
Hear me out. I feel like tuning just for scopes, just for optics, tuning was cool. Just for optics, nothing else. Like the close and far tuning for optics was fire. That was fire.
I can't do the tuning shit, man. It's too complicated. It's
Just
too
for
much.
optics. Just for optics. Everything else was ass. Just for optics.
Yeah,
Yep.
they were
Prime
better
said
for
facts.
optics for sure.
Just for optics. That was fire. The
I
close
can't
scope
do
was lit.
tuning.
I
It's
agree.
too much.
Yeah, wait, did
Proc
Warzone
chat.
2 bring proc chat?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'll give it to them. Warzone 2, proc chat, that was fire. But hey, yo, I'm proc chat, man. The AI bullshit's whack as hell. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Dude, ProcChat was so cool when it was just like free at first when it came out. I'm not a fan of the AI thing either. It's so
I
sometimes
hate
it's
that
too
shit.
quiet in the games. It's too
Yeah,
quiet.
because everybody's proc chat banned. It's so stupid. It's so
Yeah, and
dumb,
it doesn't
bro.
make sense for ranked play either. Why did they put you in a ban and then you can go play ranked play and then you can't talk to people? That's the one thing I just don't really get is that.
Wait,
alone.
they don't let you. Wait, you can't talk to like random teammates?
No, I remember I was ProcChat banned for 2 weeks for whatever, right? Don't know. And I'm playing ranked play and multiplayer. My teammate's like, Hunter, bro, if you don't have a fucking mic, don't play ranked play, you dumbass. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh yeah, I would love to fucking talk to you, man.
No
So
way.
that's a flaw for sure. You used to be able to unmute people that were ProcChat banned.
Yes.
You can't unmute them now. So it's
Bro.
like, the fuck?
They just make some decisions that I would just never agree with, and I just, quite frankly, it just doesn't make sense. Like there's decisions that I'm just like, bro, how does that happen? That's one of them. And then Terminator saying fuck you, and then I can't say it. That's fucked up. You know
And
what
then
I'm
the
saying?
emo he says, fuck you, asshole, in the emote.
Fuck
says
you,
both.
asshole. yeah.
Yeah.
And if I tell somebody to eat my ass, I get proc chat banned for 14 days. Like seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's stupid. There's a mute button for a reason, right? Like you're not forced to interact with people. There's a mute button. You can mute people. I think they said they're gonna work on the system, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything. You know, Cap, right? Like the streamer, Warzone streamer, Capture.
Yeah.
Dude, he literally quit Warzone and he's gonna start making videos about food and go in the food industry because he's ProcChat banned on Warzone and he hates it so bad. He literally flat out quit.
Yep.
He said, I'm not playing this shit. And he quit.
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, there's a lot of people that are getting affected by that. Like, look at Slater. Slater's in every podcast. I'm not even trolling. He comes into the stream and he says, "Please, bro, talk about find a party and proc chat bans." Like, bro, like not even that. Shadow bans, grimy. It's fucking going on
Bro.
day number 75. I'm telling you right now, grimy, you're chalk, bro. I would just lose all hope in that account. I'm not even trolling. Like, bro, like. There's just so many things that just don't make sense to me. I don't know. Activision's a funny company. They're funny.
Yeah, I mean, if I get ProcChat banned, I'm switching accounts. I'm not going to sit there and not talk to people. I switch accounts if I get chat banned.
That's what people do, bro. Like, that's what Lumpy, he has like fucking 5 accounts on
Same
rotation. And if he gets ProcChat banned, he just gets another one. And he just like, bro, I love getting on the game and trolling on ProcChat.
And interacting, yeah.
And just having fun.
Yeah, you like
right?
interacting. Yeah,
But here's the thing.
part that makes it fun is interacting with other people. That's the best part about the game.
Bro, I'm okay. So right now there's a bug. If you have it I had it on a foot pedal where I can click, push to talk. But there's a bug right now where if you hold it, it'll sometimes disable it completely. So you have to restart your game and load it up again. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have proc chat on, or I'm gonna have open mic. Then I'm talking to stream, telling them about my fucking hemorrhoids, and then I get fucking proc chat back. You know, like because
Yeah,
the
and
game thinks I'm talking to somebody on the game, but I'm actually talking to fucking Silencer, calling him an idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, Silencer.
well,
I didn't mean you. You know what I'm
Another thing that's crazy too that no one knows is there's actually cheese with proc chat that no one knows about. So if no one's near you and you use push to talk and you talk and your mic doesn't pop up, nobody's near you. But if you're talking and someone's near you, it shows your name on the right pop up. So when I run out on solos, I'll have like a low tone buzzing playing. And it won't pop up unless someone's near me. And then I'm like, okay, someone's near me because my proc
so you're
chat
getting high
name
alert
popped
for
up.
free cheese.
Yes,
That's some
we're
high
about-
alert cheese.
Wait, Hector, we're about to see competitors use that in tourneys, bro.
Bro, I
It's
was,
the thing.
I was catching on. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, bro, how come sometimes it comes up? How come sometimes it doesn't? I was
Yeah, that's
actually
why,
like-
because no one's near you. So when you're in the pregame lobby by yourself, and if you're talking, your name won't pop up. The second you connect to a game and you're still
High
talking, your
alert
name pops up all of a
cheese, bro.
sudden.
Is Soka in your viewer list, bro?
I don't know if anyone knew about that. I've
see
always
Super
noticed it
Rev in
because
the
it's annoying. Because I thought
But
my
it
foot
only
pedal
works
just
as a
wasn't working.
solo, right? Because obviously if you're in a
No,
party with
it works.
random,
Oh yeah, if you're a party with random, but regardless, like it's insane. It's a broken thing you can use for sure.
That's pretty
There
fucking
you go. I
fire.
just
I
gave
can't
the
even cap.
sauce.
Dude.
Everybody's about to be using that. Well, I mean, think about it. Who actually has open chat, proc chat on? No one.
Well,
Yeah.
well, you don't need to be an you can use push to talk now.
Now,
You can use
2v2
push to
cheese.
talk. You
know
can
what
use
I'm
push
saying?
talk.
Like-
You can.
Like,
Wait, what do
if
you
you're in
mean?
a
well, if
tourney
you're in
and
a
like,
duo
let's say,
or anyone's on your team, no matter what, they're gonna see it pop up. So it won't work in.
Soka's at pop off and he just like goes to his game chat real quick and just has like push to talk on. He uses push to talk. If his name doesn't pop up, he's like, oh, we're good, boys.
Wait, Art's giving some insane cheese. He said it works if you F11 your mic as well.
What?
See,
That is some cheese. That is some cheese. Bro,
Yeah, but I
there
don't
was a
think it was
thing.
working trios.
It's still a thing. So, I mean, I'm just going to say it, but dude, back in Warzone 2.
And I think it's 50 meters, so it's actually further than the high alert, which I think
used-
is only 30.
So like decoy grenades used to like respawn. I think like there were 30 seconds for like restock. And so like I used to carry them around in customs and you would throw them. And if anybody was in the area, you'd get XP for them. Cause like that was like the thing back in Warzone or Modern Warfare 2. So like that's what something I was doing. I was just throwing decoy grenades. And if I got XP, I'm like, yo, there's someone here. Like, like, and I was just carrying them because the restock was 30 seconds. So that was some cheese too. And I think you
didn't
can
know
still
that.
do it.
Hey, I didn't know this. I was like in the process of figuring it out. Because I was like, bro, how come sometimes they can see it and sometimes I can't see it? And I noticed that if somebody was close to me, I could see it. But I didn't put two and two
There you go.
together.
yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hey, chat, free cheese by Hunter. That's what happens when you watch
That
the
is some
Pullze Check
cheese.
podcast, fellas. You get free cheese, baby. Free cheese. Oh,
We're about to see
man. Well,
competitors have proc shot on, bro.
I
That's going to
know,
be
I know.
insane.
well, boys, look, man. I think today was a great podcast. I think we covered a lot of the leaks and everything looking forward. Yes, I'm sad that Verdansk is delayed, but I just hope that they take those extra 10 days, 14 days, whatever it is, to really fine tune everything and hopefully the game launches with minimal bugs. Because I promise you that it's gonna launch with bugs. How many bugs is the question, right? So yeah, man, we'll see, boys. But boys, appreciate y'all as always, man. Thank you guys. We'll do another podcast very soon. Hopefully we get some announcements soon. We know for a fact next week they said that there's gonna be some type of something going out on the 10th, so that's next Monday. So for sure we'll do a podcast Monday, Tuesday, going over everything that whatever they announce or anything that they say. They've got to be doing something for their 5-year anniversary, right? Like there's no way.
Yeah.
So yeah. Boys, Ebatez, JGod, Hunter, appreciate you guys as always. And y'all at home, thank you guys for tuning into the Pullze Check podcast, man. We'll catch you guys in the next one, baby. Peace, 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 peace.